I am all alone. No one can be trusted. Everyone will always disappoint me, and life is chaotic. These were the subconscious belief systems I was carrying inside me for many decades. I was busy overgiving to everyone in my life. I was giving people all the love, affection, time, and energy, and wasn't really expecting anything back from them. I was unable to be vulnerable because I thought emotions were a weakness. I was stretched thin and absolutely running on empty, when one day I finally stopped and I asked the universe, "Why are you doing this to me?" And the universe answered, "It's not me, it's you." And that really was the start of my healing journey. But before I share with you the 5 life-changing secrets that I discovered during this journey, I'm going to invite you to join me in just closing your eyes for just a moment and think of the person you love the most. And now open your eyes and notice how it felt to you when you thought of that person. Maybe you had a little smile on your face. Maybe you had a feeling of tenderness, affection, even joy, right? So I'm going to ask you to raise your hands if the person you thought of fits in any of these categories, whether it was a parent, it was a partner, it was a pet, it was your child, it was Shah Rukh Khan. No, that's just me? Okay, all right. So now I'm going to ask you the most difficult question. How many of you saw yourself when you closed your eyes? And when was the last time you looked at yourself in the mirror and felt the same amount of tenderness, affection, and joy? The trouble is we are constantly seeking love outside of ourselves, whether it is with other people or even with ChatGPT. And we forget that the journey for true love has to start from within. I was 52 years old when I first heard the phrase self-love, and I must say it truly alarmed me. Raised in India as a woman, an elder daughter, a wife, a mother, a doctor, my entire life's conditioning has been that I have to put everyone else first. So when I first heard the phrase self-love, I thought, oh, that sounds super selfish, like not for me. But now, after a few years of deep inner healing work that I have done, spiritual journeys, meditation, journaling, I can assure you that self-love has nothing to do with being selfish. Self-love is just the powerful understanding that I matter and I deserve to be loved. Self-love elevates you above all the negative chatter we always have in our heads. You know, the conditionings, the expectations, the disappointments, the traumas, the resentments. And I was filled with all those in 2021. The COVID pandemic first wave and the quarantine was the final push that was required for my marriage of 25 years to collapse quite completely. It didn't come as a surprise, and in fact, it was a bit of a relief. But I was quite alarmed to find so many other relationships collapsed at the same time. All the people I had given all my love and affection and time and energies to were unable to reciprocate when I needed it. I was lonely, I was frustrated, I was furious. But I realized through that beautiful destruction of the old life, space had been created for so many new things to emerge. I made so many new friends, I rediscovered old ones. Mentors and guides appeared almost miraculously in my path and helped me rebuild my life and rewrite my own happily even after. And through that dark journey of the soul, I realized something very powerful. It wasn't that the love of my life was something I had lost. The love of my life was someone I hadn't even met till then, which was my own self. So here is secret number 1. Self-love is simply the powerful act of believing I matter, I am worthy, and I deserve to be loved. In the current world that we live in, we are more connected than ever before, but we are more lonely than ever before. We want companionship, but we are unwilling to make commitments. We crave intimacy, but we are unable to be emotionally available. Why are we so lonely and lost? And that brings me to the second secret. As adults, we are the source of our own experience. What does it mean? It means we train people in how to behave with us. Now you may be thinking, surely that can't be true. I definitely didn't train my ex to be abusive, or I haven't been training my boss to be disrespectful. And you would be absolutely right. I'm not saying that you are to blame for their behavior, but you need to accept responsibility for the choices you make, which allows them to continue to behave that way with you. right? And our choices may be limited. Maybe you're financially dependent on them. Maybe you're afraid of violence. Maybe you're physically dependent on them. Or you've been brought up in a way that you are conflict averse. There may be many, many reasons why you are unable to make a difference. But unless you are able to reclaim, let's say, even 3% of responsibility towards that pattern of behavior, you are unable to reclaim the power to make a difference. Because suppose you say, oh no, it's 100% on them, they are just badly behaved people. What it means is that 100% of the solution is also now dependent on them, and that makes you the victim forever. So you have to accept that we are the source of our own experience, and therefore we are the only ones who can make a difference. Now, some of you may be thinking this relationship business sounds like super painful and traumatic. Why can't I just sit alone in my room with my Spotify and my Netflix and just order food from Swiggy once in a while? And if I'm really bored, I'll go on ChatGPT at night and ask, what is the meaning of life? Right? But that doesn't quite work. You know why? Because we are hardwired for connection. And the answer is in our genetics and in our history. For millions and millions of years, human beings have survived floods, famine, earthquake, migration, predators, only because of one thing. And that was not the discovery of fire, it was not the invention of the wheel, it was not even agriculture. We survived because we cared, and we lived in communities where we cared for each other. Every single one of your ancestors, from the dawn of time, survived and had children, and was taken care of and probably cared for someone else. And that is the only reason why each one of us is here today. Because we won the survival lottery. But unfortunately, not all of us won the relationship lottery. Because we didn't just inherit, say, my great-grandmother's nose or my grandfather's, balding pattern or my great-uncle's height. We also inherited all their emotional dysfunction. We inherited their mental health issues, maybe their addictions, their anger management issues. And unfortunately, in the post-colonial world, in the modern era, with fairy tales and mass media, we are always told to centralize only the romantic relationships as significant. And we completely forget the wide range of relationships around us which have such a deep impact on us. And of course, we all love love stories, right? I mean, there's a reason why a Bollywood film called Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge has been running for 30 years in a theatre in Mumbai. Imagine if they had made a movie saying Raj and Simran have a healthy conversation with their families. I don't think anybody is going to be running to the theatres to watch that, right? But love is so much more than romance. Love is about safety, love is about freedom, love is about comfort, caring, commitment. And we tend to forget all this in the constant focus that is on romantic love. Sometimes I get a client who comes to me, I do coaching on relationships, and they'll say, oh, I'm not in a relationship right now. And then I have to take a quiet moment and explain to them that every single one of us is always in a relationship. From the time of your birth, you are in a relationship. Whether it's with your mother and father, your siblings, your grandparents. As you grow older, you are in relationships with your school friends, with your teachers. And eventually, as you mature, hopefully you are in a relationship with yourself, whether you're conscious of it or not. And the relationship you have with yourself is the most powerful one because it's going to dictate the energies of your relationships with everyone else. And what decides the energy of that relationship with yourself? Most often, it will be your childhood experience and how you were given love and what meaning you made of it. There are many households where love is parceled out, As a doctor, I feel sometimes almost like antibiotic doses. We'll give you 500 milligrams twice a day after meals only if you behave well. There are some families where you're given love, but you're also given abuse and violence, so you have very mixed messages. There may be some families where love is not expressed at all. It is just seen as a duty or a responsibility, or even just kind of a frustrating burden. So what do we do with all this emotional baggage that we've collected over millions of years? And here is the third secret. You cannot change the past, but you can change the future. There is no reason why your future has to look anything like your past at all. And the choice to make that difference lies entirely with you. Today, this very minute, if you decide that yes, from now on, I'm going to learn how to love myself, not in a narcissistic and a grandiose way, but in a simple, authentic way, that with all my imperfections, with all my flaws, I am worthy of being loved. That itself can be such a transformational power for you that in a few months' time, you will not recognize yourself. Because once your energy shifts inside you, it shifts the energy of every possible relationship you are in. In fact, I sometimes think if I had a time machine and I went back to 2020 to meet myself, she probably wouldn't recognize me at all. She was very busy being the Olympic gold medalist of self-sacrifice. She's not going to recognize me. But I would love to have the opportunity to tell her how deeply grateful I am for her. You know, that through all that suffering, she chose every single day to make whatever small changes she could to shift everything so that I can stand here today where I am, despite all the sufferings and the trouble that she encountered. Right? So it's very important for you to recognize that the power to change your future lies only with you. And if I really could go back and talk to her, I would like to tell her a very, very powerful lesson which really shifted a lot for me. And that was that true love thrives on healthy boundaries. The first time I heard my mentor say this, a shockwave went through me because I realized this was the absolute core of all the problems I was experiencing. My understanding was that love is unconditional and therefore you must just keep giving to the people you love. But the truth is that love can be unconditional, but relationships must be conditional. They have to be mutual, they have to be respectful, they have to be equal. If only one person is expected to support someone's hopes and dreams and the other one doesn't, that's not a healthy relationship. If you are expected to offer respect to someone, you must be receiving respect back as well. And this is not just in romantic or partner relationships, it should be equal for everyone. So true love thrives on healthy boundaries. And the trouble is, all of us want to have wonderful relationships. But very few people are committed to do what it takes to have a healthy relationship. Whether it is learning communication skills, figuring out someone's love languages, whatever needs to happen. But even fewer people ever stop and ask the question, who am I going to be in this relationship? And that really is the most profound identity shift. So I'm going to invite you to just take your right hand and put it on your head. And take your left hand and put it on your heart. And recognize that this is going to be the longest journey from your head to your heart that you're ever going to undertake, and the most powerful one in your life. As soon as you're able to drop all the chatter, the drama, the chaos, the expectations and the conditionings of your heart and center yourself in your heart, the amazing identity shift that you're going to have is going to shift everything for everyone around you. And the most powerful secret you will learn is that life is not about finding love. Life is about becoming love. So you have to be different if you want to have different. What it means is you have to reposition your GPS, right? Your family has been giving you the GPS coordinates ever since you were born. But you can say, okay, that was great, thank you so much, but now I want to go somewhere else. I'm going to recognize and break the old patterns. I'm going to reposition my GPS and I want to go off in a whole different direction because I want to have something different. I can't do it unless I'm going to be someone different. So let me, in closing, just recap the 5 secrets for you. That self-love is the powerful act of believing I matter, I am worthy, I deserve to be loved. As adults, we are the source of our own experience and we train people in how to behave with us. Secret number 3 is you cannot change the past, but you can change the future. In fact, I would say you're the only one who can change your future. Secret number 4, true love thrives on healthy boundaries. Secret number 5, you have to be different to have different. Who wants a bonus secret from me? How to change the other person so you can have better relationships. Yes? No? Okay. You can't. The only person you can change is yourself. And if you don't remember anything else that I said today, remember this, right? And don't sit around waiting for someone else to choose you. Choose yourself. Love yourself as if your life depends on it, because it truly does. Thank you so much. Thank you.